Welcome to the Gyaff, Roselyn Sewcharran. How are you doing?
I'm great. I'm happy to be here.
Yeah, thank you so much for coming. It was such a long time coming, and happy to have you.
Yeah, I'm happy to be here.
Yeah,
So, Alec, how are you?
I'm good. I wish I was busier, to be honest. I think I'm at a time right now where it's work is not as moving as I would hope it would be. But then I kind of look around and a lot of people who, I don't know about you, but a lot of people who are self-employed, who have their own small businesses are kind of experiencing a bit of a dead season, I think. I don't know if it's because more the bigger sort of business or projects are happening, but small to medium scale is kind of just, not as vibrant as I would have liked.
I think that actually comes a lot when you have that like busy season. And then all of a sudden you're like you have a little bit of a dry spell, especially when you're a workaholic like me,
Yeah.
which we talked about. Remember, like, oh my gosh, me having a desk in my bed.
Yeah.
Yeah, it kind of when you have that dry spell, you're like, what's going on? What's going on? Something stands still. So it comes. You have that dry spell where things are not as flowy as it used to be because you're always so busy. So when you're not busy, you're like, I'm not doing anything. I should be doing something. you know.
Well, how do you cope with that? Because I mean, you own a small. Well, I wouldn't even call it a small business anymore. It's a business, a medium to you're growing, but you're an entrepreneur. And
Yes.
how do you handle that period where things get a bit dead and or there's not much movement, there's not much going on?
It actually gives me a lot of room to like work in other things like structure and where things that I've actually not had time to work on, like little things to make it better. Like the ones, especially, also apart from that, like working on new projects, you have the time to do that. Other than that, work in the ones that you're not too, like things that needs improvement. You get to go in there and be like, okay, yes, this needs fixing. Let's work on that. How can we make this better? Talk to my team, bring it together. You have time to do all of that. So with that downtime or that time that it's you're not so busy, I try to use that as productively as I can.
But like when you're in that time though where you're sort of working, refining on things, is money ever an issue where it's like, oh, I should be making money right now? Like for me, because I'm saying this because I sometimes get that anxiety of like, I wish I was making, even though I think I'm okay. Like I could, I have set aside for rainy days, but I'm like,
The anxiety, right? Because it
yes,
needs to
because I just feel like I want to
the cash
get
flow.
to, yeah, I want to get, and in the future I want to get to where I think I'm supposed to be, as an entrepreneur.
Obviously, with any business, right, you would definitely want to make sure that you have a constant income. And there's always that fear. It's like, what if the money stops? What if it stops rotating? What stops flowing? What happens then? Uh, I think at that point, you just kind of like refocus and remember what you're doing. Like for me, personally, I just think about like, I love what I do. People have enjoyed what I'm doing, and I'm just thinking, how can I make it better to make it more? Do I make it more marketable? Do I make it more add something extra? Because I think one thing about Wonderless, like we like to go a little extra with whatever we do. So do you know what a Wonderless means, right?
Tell me. I
The,
kind of have an idea, but I don't have a
the
definition.
desire to travel.
Okay.
Yeah, so I got that name. I actually got a tattoo recently for
Oh,
it.
nice.
Yeah, and that was my first tattoo. I was like, what should my first tattoo
Did it
be?
hurt?
No, I actually enjoyed it. Now every
Oh,
time, yeah, I had it on
nice.
my shoulder. So I was like, yeah. So I was like, ah. I was so anxious about what to do. I was like, I want something that, that I love, and what can I do? So I was like, just do the word, and I
Yeah.
did it, and then I loved it.
Tell me about Wonderless. I mean, is that your first business ever?
Actually, growing up and when I was younger, I was always a little, entrepreneur, hustler.
For
Trying
those
to.
who don't know, by the way, which everybody knows, but Wonderless is a tour operating
Yes,
company.
we're a tour operator. We do tours all over Guyana. We specialize in day tours and family tours. Yes, this is me marketing it.
Yeah.
But yeah, just we were just a group of people that love what we do, and we just try to show off Guyana as best as we can.
Yeah.
You know, where was I?
How it started. How did you end up doing it? Was it your first business?
Oh, well, actually, it was not my first business. I would say I used to do like basic retail, like sell vintage dresses, little things like, use Facebook marketing. It was just, I was just
Entrepreneurially.
always doing something apart from my main job,
Okay.
And then one time I decided to go on a trip. It was one of the trips that actually, changed my life, actually. I did a solo trip to Europe,
Oh.
right? And
Euro trips always life changing.
yeah, it was. It sounds, I know, cliche when people say, oh, you go on the solo trip and you get, but it does. It actually shows you how much you're capable of, and how independent you are, and and I realized how good at planning I am. So when I look back at everything that I've done, like planned the hotels, the destinations, and how detailed planned it was, I was like, I'm really good at this. Maybe I should just make this into a business and help other people that wants to do the same. So I was like, yeah, so I'll do that. So when I went, I tried to make a note of everything, that all the challenges that I received and I got, and then yeah. And when I came back, I was just like, yeah, let's do this. And then I was like, and what do I name? I actually had a friend. We went to a cafe. We were sitting there. What can we name it? What can we name it? And I was like, let's name it. She came up with the name actually. She's like, what about Wonderlust? Like, oh my god, that word, that's perfect. Let's do that. Like, yeah, Wanderlust Adventures and Amy. Amy, yeah.
Amy.
And today's her birthday actually. Happy birthday, Amy.
I don't know if I know Amy. Amy who?
Amy Young.
Oh, Amy Young. Oh, yeah, I
Yes,
know Amy.
yes,
Okay,
yes.
gotcha.
Yeah. So, and then we did that. She actually joined my team early on,
Okay.
and she was helping me out, and we were, making all the, calls and what we do, how do we go about, and then slowly but surely we learned and we got there, and it was just, it just happened so fast because I really did not expect it to be what it is today, because I was just, happy-go-lucky girl that found something that she loves doing, and it's like, let's go give it a try and see what happens. And this what happens.
How long you been doing it now?
It's going to be close to 4 years,
Oh,
actually.
wow.
Yeah, it's like late 2019.
Okay.
But then in 2020, we had COVID, so it was like dormant for that period. But then as soon as I think we, along with another company, were like the first set of operators that got the like the pre-opening, the soft opening. But we had a lot of hoops to jump through, though. Like, we had to do the whole policies and procedures and make sure we have all our PPEs, like the mask and sanitizer. They had to do inspections.
Yeah.
It was a time. But we made sure we covered all the grounds, and we were out there. And, being a new operator, we didn't know how we would be received. But I guess people had the cabin fever,
Yeah.
so they were out there. And in one of our tours, actually, the first one was the rainforest trek, which was just basically a hike in the secondary forest, just teaching people basic skills like how to use a machete, how to build a fire, how to tie a hammock, those kind of simple things. But people loved it. People, reacted to it. And then a lot of them asked, is it suitable for kids? But at that time, the terrain and it was not. I was like, you know what? Let me make one just for kids. I think we're the only one that does a tour just for kids at the moment. And so I did my research. I tried to find out what would be more relatable for family tours for kids, making it more appealing to them. Because, kids, they have to be entertained all the time, when they're out and about. And we're like, okay, let's do Explore the Rainforest for kids. And it's actually one of my favorite tours.
Oh, yeah.
We get to take the family and the kids to the rainforest. We teach them the kids the different layers of the rainforest. We do crafting, we do painting, we do singing on the bus. That's one of my favorites. And I see, and I'll tell you this, why it's my favorite tour is because I just see with the parents and the kids and the moments that they actually connect, and you can see that there are definitely memories that will last a lifetime. That's what we strive for. Creating those moments that would create memories that will last a lifetime. Yeah.
Yeah, it's interesting how you sort of came up with the idea. I mean, obviously we have a lot to build in terms of tourism. So there's a lot of roles to play and a lot of gaps to fill in that market. But coming off of a Euro trip, for example, where there's so much to do in terms of experiencing history and cuisine and
It was
culture
a
and
total
people.
culture shock for
You
me,
know
by
how,
the way.
yeah, and it's amazing, right? Because it's like you these like civilizations have been around for so long, so there's so much history there. But then, and I don't know if I'm just thinking about this in this way because I'm Guyanese and I've been in Guyana for so long, but comparatively to me, there's not like I feel like there's not that much to do in Guyana. You know what I mean? So but you're clearly seeing a lot of markets and a lot of things to explore. Like when you sell to people, like the people you take on your tours, are they usually foreigners or they're locals as well?
They're a mixture. They're definitely a mixture. I I would not say in any given day there is going to be a percentage over. I would just say it's obviously definitely a mixture, but there is a lot of influx of expats, like people that moved here and so forth. I do have a lot of clientele in that area, but definitely our locals are embracing the new experiences, and yeah, I love it. I love the reaction from our local Guyanese people, and everybody's just coming out there, we're outside. Let's go
Yeah.
outside, let's go enjoy nature, and just see different things, learn about history. Like I've even seen like locals that go on our tours, and they come back like, I never knew this about my country, I never knew this about this place, I'm so happy that I went, I learned so much, and even people that have never been here, they were impressed by our history and about the way we the hospitality, the friendliness of the people, the food, of course. Remember, it's like culture shock for them as well, I guess. Like as I mentioned earlier with the whole trip, like I remember going down when I was in Europe. Bringing it back to that story, like I remember seeing a tram for the first time. I'm like, what is that? Like, where's the string? Well, not a string, but the cord.
String.
String,
Yeah.
right? The cord, like, on the train line thing, and it's going in the middle of nowhere, because I think it was in Amsterdam at that time. And it was just fascinating. Everything was so huge, and it was fascinating, and the food was different.
Yeah.
Did miss my rice, though.
Oh my God, I love rice.
Guyanese.
Yeah, I think is I always say it's the Asian in me, but I definitely, even when I cook meals that are supposed to be like, okay, we cooking potatoes, I end up eating rice, like with whatever I cook. It's just too good. I don't know. But yeah, sorry, back to tourism. No, I hear you. I think Guyana, maybe I'm wrong. Like there, I guess it's not really. It's just also how you look at things too. How you approach it, especially from a tour point of view.
I think there's a lot to do in Guyana. It's just how we kind of
Do we sell it wrong?
I
Maybe?
think the marketing, like I'm no expert here, right? I'm just speaking from experience. Like I would consider myself, fortunate enough to have traveled to different places of different history, culture, and so forth. Like I think I told you, I recently went to Egypt and Indonesia, Bali, right? And Bali is a lot more relatable, like close to Guyana in regards to their tourism.
But
Their
they do have
tourism
big
is
tourism.
huge. I
Yeah.
mean, as in terrain and so forth. But the way they market it, and the way they organize things, and the way they basically market the country in a whole is fantastic. Like a paradise.
What are
And
they doing that we're not doing?
in my opinion, obviously, as I said, no expert here.
Yeah, no, definitely.
I think it's just the basic marketing, because if you don't know about it, how are you going to know about it? Like if it's not out there for the people to see, how are you actually going to know that it exists? If it's not put out, information is not fully put out there, there's no way I would know about it. But I think that is definitely improving,
Yeah.
because I've worked with my a fellow tour operators. We're all trying to get there. I work with Guyana Tourism Authority. They're fantastic. They help in any way possible. I think we're definitely getting there, though. I think tourism has changed over the years from when I started. as a newbie, having no idea what I was getting into, and learning so much and seeing how much has grown over the years, I will definitely say we have come a long way, and we're getting there, definitely.
I was speaking with Zoe Reeve, Travel with Zoe.
Yeah, I was just watching that this morning, but I didn't get to finish it.
Yeah. We were just talking about, the different types of travel, and, she's a budget traveler, which a lot of young people are, especially adventurous ones, who might want to stray away from the mainstream or whatever and want to really experience the full have the local experience, sorry. And she was just saying, like, yeah, there's not a lot of things here that cater for the backpack traveler. You kind of have to, like, maybe stay in a hotel or book through a big agency to, like, do certain things, whereas you can't sort of go off on your own and, take a bus to, like, different villages, or, you kind of, it has to be, like, planned for you, and then there's a big expense that comes with that. And I do personally thought that there was there is an opportunity for Guyana to sort of capitalize on the budget traveler. Yeah, their budget, but if we do it in numbers, we have a lot more people coming through. And I think maybe I haven't been to Bali, but there's a lot of young people going through there as well.
Absolutely.
And
I
they're
was
not
a solo
spending
traveler,
and they're not, you're not
So,
spending a ton of money.
Yeah.
But you're doing affordable things.
So, what I can tell you that's like recently, I wouldn't say recently, it was like last year, we actually created a package where we actually have a package for solo travelers, like the ones to visit the Rupununi, or even for just day tours, right? Where we cater for like the solo travelers, where we have the option to do it as it is, and then you pay the premium price, and then you have the budget price. I'll give you an example. For example, if they want to go visit maybe Atalaj, Wakarama, and then maybe a trip to Latam, what we do, we put them on a bus, a local running bus, but the one that we trust and we know. The driver drops them off there, so it's budgeted all the time, and then we just kind of make sure that they're safe in each stop that they do, and they get best of both worlds: the affordability, and the safety, and the experience.
Yeah.
So that's what we're trying to meet that. Trying to meet that requirement, meet that demand, because we've had a lot of solo travelers that are like, oh no, it's too expensive for me. Because not all the time we're gonna have group tours at the same time that they want to travel or they're visiting. What if it's an off-peak season, but they still want the experience? So we try to create a package that covers all of that.
Yeah. Are there any challenges within your field that you kind of wish that, or you think that we can get over to push the tourism industry forward more? Like, what are some of the fallbacks of tourism here that could make your job easier, or just attract more clientele, perhaps?
Okay, so internally, I would say sometimes just communication. Like sometimes it's hard to communicate with the communication between certain suppliers or so. That was some of my challenges personally.
Yeah.
I can't speak for everyone else, but personally, like some of my challenges would just be like, okay, last minute changes, and all of that you have to deal with, and you always have to check back, make sure that just want to make sure that this date is confirmed, that kind of thing.
Like you're double checking on your booking.
I feel like I always have to double check because for some reason because remember that's my name or my company on the line there. So I want to make sure that everything runs smoothly. I'm a bit, when it comes to those things, I'm a bit,
OCD.
Yes. So everything has to be, make sure that it's planned. That's why we kind of take our time when we introduce a new tour, because we want to make sure that everything is, as you know, everything never really goes as a plan. Sometimes there's always going to be something that comes up, but you always have to have a contingency plan for that, especially when you're responsible for people. Right?
Yeah.
So that's how we operate, and those are my internal challenges, right? So, like certain communication habits and that I prefer, and externally, I would say the challenges would be maybe banking, for example, is always a challenge to collect payments from some countries. There's always the challenge of that, but we found ways around that.
Why? Because they can't just pay with credit card.
No, we don't have that system. I don't even have a POS system that you can actually put it in the card and by having the. Maybe I'm with the wrong bank. I don't know.
Yeah.
But we found ways around that. But the only thing it would cost the guests a bit, the service charge.
Yeah.
Which I'm trying to avoid, but it just makes it easier for the guests and for the process to go along. So those are some of the challenges. The other challenges probably externally would probably be just what are the challenges? Like I'm going blank right now. I guess because we're just kind of dealing with it for whenever we experience it. But other than that, though, we've just had head on, just faced every challenge and try to just move past that and see how best we can work around it. That's what you do.
Yeah. Seems like a lot of these challenges just come from how we do business here in Guyana. Like we're a cash economy. There's dealing with foreign currencies, like a total headache. And then, just communication with any business is kind of a chore,
Yeah, double checked.
Yeah. Especially if you're not if you don't have a very deep relationship, if you're not using a supplier constantly, sometimes they're like, yeah, we got it. And then the day of, they're like,
you didn't
the
confirm
person
closer to
forget to
time,
write
so,
it down.
yeah.
Or
Yeah, that happens.
like just really like incompetent things like that.
Yeah, like I hate to call. I'm not gonna call it any business per se, but but that's really not. Remember, it affects you as a business owner. The onus goes on you.
Yeah.
Whatever goes wrong, they're not gonna call the supplier's name. They're gonna call your name.
100%.
So definitely, that's something that we definitely have to improve on, I would say.
What's your long-term, vision for the company? Like, where do you want to see yourself in 10 years? What kind of things do you see this company doing in the future?
So my tagline, right, would be travel, tour, transport. Right. So I kind of want to make it a company that helps people not only travel locally, but internationally. That's actually one of the reasons I started Wonderlust, to help people realize that, open the Guyana passport, realize that people, that it's not, travel is amazing. It teaches you so much about the world and yourself. I would encourage anyone to do a solo trip whenever they can. Save that up. I'll give you tips. Just make that experience possible, and you'll see how much it teaches you.
Yeah.
Agreed. So I kind of want to help people know that it's possible, it's achievable, it can be affordable. You don't have to go to those big expensive places. You can, do, that Zoe does, the budget travel, and have a great time and it'll be safe, and it'll, just help them streamline or organize that kind of experience. And I want to help them do that. Help them know that, you can travel to more places than the US and Canada. There's, the world is so big,
Yeah. Yeah. That would be cool, actually, because, a lot of people aren't aware of how easy you can actually get around or have an amazing experience for under a certain amount.
Yeah, and there's so many countries that are visa free for Guyana, and they're coming in, they're also changing a lot of the laws. So soon enough, we'll be able to go to other countries we haven't been able to before.
Yeah.
And I want to let people know that and help people do that. So that's where I want my company to go through. Also to make it an experience, like a Wonderless, I would call it. I was telling you guys about that, right? The Wonderless experience, where when they come and they arrive, they get greeted. They have basically a concierge service. So where everything is planned out, and you just come up, you show up, and then we try to bring the people together, like have dinners together, that kind of camaraderie. We're not only just doing a day tour and then bye. We want you to come for a week, and then let's just show you around Guyana, introduce you to the people, learn about each other. That kind of experience I'm hoping to achieve and sell in the future.
Yeah.
Yeah, the Wonderless experience, Guyana experience.
For sure, yeah. I wish well, I'm hopeful that, like, how Europe, you can sort of just, you can take a train and just go all over. You could hit different
Like they
countries.
did back in the days, the Burbies. I
Yeah.
remember, like, I think one of the drivers were saying that he used to take the train to Burbies and back. I was like, oh, that's so cool.
Yeah.
Like, you know,
Imagine you could do that though, like around South America, or at least if the South American
oh,
route
South
was
America.
accessible.
All right.
I think, like, we're so as Guyanese detached from the rest of South America. Like, and
True.
it's such a different world in, like, Colombia and Peru and Ecuador and Argentina. Like, you go there and the culture is so strong and deep and lively that you feel like you're transported into, like, a different world. The infrastructure, obviously the language, and the
The
people.
way people dress,
Yeah,
the colors.
yeah.
Yeah, I've seen that.
It's
Like,
it's
yeah.
it's insane. And I think, like, that's kind of one of my goals, is to, you know, pretty soon, before I get too old, is just to see as much of South America as I can. Um, and obviously the food there is amazing. Yeah.
Yeah, I've heard. Like one of the countries that I have to visit soon is Chile, because I met a friend of mine in where was I in Italy, and she was the funniest girl ever. I loved her. Like, I can't forget it. That was 2019, but we're still in contact and we're
Oh,
still
nice.
friends. And I just keep telling her, she's a nurse, and she told me so much about it, and she's so funny. Like, I would definitely have to go to Chile experience, because she loves hiking and views, and I do too, but not so good at the hiking part. I remember doing a hiking to in Indonesia, Mount Batur. I can't remember how high that was, but it was definitely up there. And halfway through, I was like, oh my gosh, I'm definitely out of shape. I can't do this. But I made it halfway there, and then there was a dirt bike. Yeah, a dirt bike on the mountain that takes you up another maybe 1 foot, right? I'm like, oh, just take out my money, just take me out. I need to
Yeah,
go.
yeah.
So we got up like then I had to hike another a quarter, and then I made the hike. So I kind of hiked 3 quarters of the
Yeah,
mountain.
yeah, yeah.
But it was, and when you got there, it was like, oh my god, it was all worth it. Even if I did that extra, but it was worth it. It was worth it. But it was so crazy though, like riding a dirt bike up a mountain, looking down, and you're like, I could die.
Yeah.
I'm just saying. But it was an experience. It was great. It was definitely worth it.
That's how a lot of those hiking tour trips go. I do a lot of hiking for when I go on vacation, mostly in the U.S., because the U.S. is such a underrated place for hiking. Like, people, or at least we think of the U.S. as, like, oh, these cities where we could go and experience all the foreign capitalist stuff, like the McDonald's and the shopping and whatever. Well, the outdoors in the U.S. is such an experience, and I think, like, when I go hiking, especially, it's like you're always, as when you're doing it all day, it's such a pain, and but when you get to that point, or that
Oh
that
yes.
location that's on the map, it's like, this was all worth it.
That absolutely, you forget about the pain.
Yeah.
You forget about, oh my gosh, I'm dying.
Yeah.
Yeah. You just like, I remember I actually cried. Like, I did on my birthday, like I cried. I was like, wow, because I was watching the sunrise,
Oh yeah.
and it
Where?
was absolutely stunning. It was Mount Batur in Indonesia, and
Okay.
you see the clouds above where the mountains are, and you see the sun coming up, and the colors. It's so different, like from looking at the ground level.
Yeah.
Absolutely, obviously, yeah. But it just seeing the clouds, like you're in the clouds, and it's yes, mind blowing.
It makes you think about, like, what life really is about, huh?
Yeah, take that risk,
Yeah.
even though it's rough and it's tough, and you want to give up. You just like, just take me home. My legs are giving out, but you still push through, or you find a dirt bike.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
So there you go.
Yeah.
Just push through, and it'll be all worth it when you get that view. Oh, actually, someone told me this a while ago. I don't remember who it was. A friend of mine. I'm still trying to jog my memory. They told me that life is like a train ride. Just enjoy the ride and the view, and yeah, eventually, it'll come find you, I guess.
Yeah. I don't know, man. Sometimes I think it gets pretty tough out here. Maybe I'm like, I don't know. I feel like sometimes I could be a pessimist or a glass half empty kind of guy. I just have high expectations. And in Guyana, sometimes I feel it's just like it gets to an uphill climb. I don't know.
It's nothing wrong with that because you know what? Sometimes I have that feeling where like, am I doing enough? Like you feel like you look at what you're doing and it's like, am I still doing enough, or should I do more, or that feeling. But honestly, sometimes you just kind of have to remember what you're doing
Yeah, you
and
just
why
gotta
you're doing
let
it.
Jesus take the wheel sometimes, as they
Yeah,
say.
you're like, just remember what you're doing, and you remember that, you know what, I did this for a reason, I chose this for a reason, and that's what I'm gonna push through, because I believe in this, and everybody around me believes this, because I will tell you this, one of the things that kept me going, I will tell you this, is definitely like my family and my close friends. They've always been the biggest, I would say, the biggest pillar in my success and my growth. They are 100%, 100, 200% always behind me, all my biggest cheerleaders. Even when I have my moments where I'm like, I'm not doing enough or I'm doubting myself, they're always there like, you're doing great, sis. You're amazing. You're doing fine, and don't worry about it. You got this. That little thing. That little you got this kind of thing. It makes you kind of like, yeah, believe in yourself more. You're just having that one person, to be a friend or family member, just says you got this. Kind of like reminds like, yeah, I got this.
Yeah.
you know.
Supportive family is always good.
Yes,
It's probably the best,
it's
actually.
it's really really great. I love them to that. They're amazing. Like, even I remember when I was starting the business, and sometimes I'd have stuff that I have to prepare like early in the morning. They will be up with me preparing it like 3 o'clock in the morning. And I just love them for that. Like, they've always been amazing and a big part of my life, and definitely owe a lot of my success and growth to them.
Yeah. Awesome. Yeah, I could relate because, I couldn't do a lot of what I have without my parents as well. Just being unconditionally supportive, even when they don't even understand what you're going through. But
Because they
yeah.
believe in you.
Yeah.
And trust me, just having someone believe in you just helps you to believe in yourself. Like, you can be the most confident person, but if you don't have that kind of just little support, just little, like, go for it. You understand how much it means until you receive it, and then you're like, you feel so much better
Yeah.
about what you're doing.
Yeah.
It kind of reminds you what you're doing. Yeah.
For sure. I wanted to talk to you about, a lot of our tourism is sold as like this sort of eco travel experience, outdoors, nature, natural environment kind of thing. And I'm always a big believer of, well, first of all, I love food, and drinks. And I always feel like in Guyana, we have a big rum shop culture, and we have a lot of like, I feel like we could have more restaurants, but there's a lot of experiences to be had with what we have, and I know you do a good amount of city tours as well. How do you sort of craft your tours? I mean, like, because a lot of these places aren't set up for like, foreign people just coming in and having experiences. How do you sort of create that and create this experience where you take someone, say me, for example, who might be living overseas and coming to Ghana for the first time, and how do you show me an experience or sell me an experience of all these different culinary things or places, which, perhaps isn't like their infrastructural setup as a business might not be geared towards that.
Okay, so we have different city tours, but one of them is actually like a city sort of culinary tour where we actually give them like a little taste of the Guyanese kind of cuisine in a way where we kind of have for breakfast, because it starts like early in the morning. We give them some pastries like pine tart cheese roll, like
Guyanese classics.
savapon and like the classics, right? And then we're like, and then we tell a story of like, come from school, this is our snacks that you'd have, or even for lunch sometimes as a kid, this would be like, pine curd cheese roll is it, right? So and then for lunch you would give them either like chicken curry or at Shanta's. Actually, that's a famous place that we usually
Where?
take our guests, Shanta's.
Oh, Shanta's. Oh, yeah. That's a good place.
Yeah, so we take them there for lunch and they love it. And then we take them a little walk through the market. They can buy some fruits. So they actually got a little taste of each culinary. And for the person that to have a little drink here and there, we actually have what we called a bar crawl tour.
Oh, nice.
Yeah. We had a family the other day. They were so much fun. They were total team players there because we do with the bar crawl, we have a scavenger hunt.
Okay.
Yeah, so we have like props, like photo props. So everybody's having like a funny hat, a big hat or something, and necklaces, and it was just fun. It's just fun, and we take them to first we go to the seawalls, and then we go to bistro, hibiscus, and with that though, when we're stopping these places, they actually get a discount or a welcome drink. So therefore we show them our local restaurants. Sometimes they have dinner, and sometimes we have bites at the seawalls, or we have dinner at hibiscus or bistro or palm court, and then and then we just have a good time, show them the nightlife, and they love it. They enjoy it. They enjoy the scavenger hunt. Take a picture with the bartender, get a stranger to buy your drink. Those kind of things. So you try to make it fun and interactive, and and let them learn about And we also cater for persons that wants to go out there, but they're like, oh, can I do this by myself?
Yeah.
Can I, so we pick them up and we take them back. So
Yeah.
there's no driving, drinking. So, so yeah, it's, we try to create experiences to help people learn about the restaurants, the food, the people. That's our aim.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, no, it's a great idea. Cause like you said, someone who doesn't know Guyana and comes in, and people are usually skeptical, just based on these some of the international warnings.
Hasty generalization, I call it.
What's that?
Hasty generalization.
Yeah, hasty generalizations. Yeah. So they're like, oh yeah, I heard it wasn't safe here or whatever. So if they have someone holding their hand and showing them, oh, as a matter of fact, it's not bad at all, and we have good places, that's kind of like a good thing, for them to do. I'm sure it'll change your perspective as well on Guyana as a whole.
Absolutely, yeah. Like I recently had two guests that came in, and they were literally just on a layover, because I actually created a tour for layover guests. I'm targeting that market where people are just here.
Oh, like a day?
Like they're actually going to another country, but they have a day in Guyana. So it's like, okay, we can pick you from the airport, show you around Georgetown, and then take you back to the airport. So we want to even target that tiny little market, because we think it's important. Everyone, we want to make sure that
there's a lot of business going on.
Yeah, so we were always trying to think outside the box, I mean, there obviously, as you mentioned, as Guyana knowing as the eco-tourism destination to be, which I agree 100%, fantastic, flora and fun. But there's also different types of tourism, like the bar crawl, like the city tours, the history tours and so forth, where people can just learn about the food, about the culture, about the people. Some of my friends, how to make roti, does the tour. I think Dylan does a tour like that, and Delvin, yes, So all of that is apart from the eco fascination that we have here, and which obviously it's definitely there. And I am always fascinated by our discoveries and so forth. And I love what we do. Like whenever I go out into the forest, or I hop on a plane and I fly across Canada, I'm like, wow. Like it always takes my breath away.
Yeah.
It just always takes my breath. Like I really do consider myself like lucky to be from here, because we have so much potential and so much to do, and I'm so excited to to help show off that. As like I'm always so excited.
Well, it's one of the best things about you. One of the many great things about you.
Thank you.
Yeah.
I was excited, yeah. I don't know where the energy comes. Maybe the coffee. Oh, how much did you put in here?
I wish I had your energy. Sometimes by between 12 and 2 in the afternoon, I'm like fighting to like keep my eyes open. I think it's because of the heat. It just sort of puts me down. But then like by 2:30, I'm back. I'm like, okay, I could work. I could, really function at 100 again. Maybe it's like my siesta time. I don't know.
Yeah, well, it's a thing. It's a thing. Yes, it's a thing. It helps. And you wake up, you're like, yeah, right to go again.
Do the businesses like you, sort of your suppliers or let's say like for example, food businesses or restaurants or certain things you would do on new tours, like do they understand the importance, and these are local businesses I'm talking about, do they understand the importance or the value that companies like yours would bring to their business? Because like, you know, you're bringing all the tourists to come and patronize their business, you know, whereas they might be focusing on locals, for example. Do a lot of them like recognize that, oh yeah, this in fact is like a market I can like push and gear myself more towards? Because I think that's how tourism kind of develops, right? It's like realizing, oh, I have visitors I can cater to as well.
Absolutely. Like, no, they've been very like responsive, like in that sense, like explaining that, you know, this is what we are going to bring to the table. This is what we want to do. And they're like, yeah, you know, they're all for it.
Yeah.
So obviously, because because as you know, even if you maybe, for example, if one of my guests is an expat, for example, or somebody that is moving here that used to live here, or just a local that decide to go out one night or just experience the city, by doing this experience, word to mouth is the best marketing ever. You know that, right? That's
Yeah.
the biggest win when it comes to word to mouth. Is the best marketing. So once you can recommend to me, like if I recommend something, you would actually want to check it out, right? Rather than reading it online.
Yeah,
You know?
definitely.
So just saying, like, so by doing that, that actually helps their business. And I think they know that. And they're very responsive, I would say.
Yeah. Do we have a rum tour? We used to, right?
They used to. I think I tried at one time to see if I can, you know, get that started again. I think during COVID, they closed it off. They stopped doing it. But I heard that they may have restarted, but I didn't check back, to be honest.
Yeah.
But I know there was. There was
Yeah.
a rum tour.
Because I mean, I feel like
There was a DDL tour. And I think there's another tour another operator does. It was more of like a sit-in and you get to, like a taste.
yeah.
Yeah, but I think that's another operator, yeah.
But technically, it
sure.
should be done through like how Mount Gay does it
Like
in
DDL
Barbados. Yeah,
and so
to
forth,
DDL.
right?
Yeah.
They did it.
They
They
did.
used to,
Yeah.
but I don't know if they still do. To be honest, I haven't checked back. Maybe
Yeah.
I should.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But if also you can do that separately too. I mean, however you create it and make it fun, that could be cool as well. Because I mean,
Yeah.
like this is our selling point, right?
Yeah,
Like
I always
rum.
recommend my guests and tell them, you know, we're the best rum in the world. We won that award at one time. Just letting you know.
What would you build around something like rum? You know, if you're tasting different, like 5-year-old to 21, like how would you sort of? I mean, you don't have to give away your
I'll
secret
just tell you
formula.
straight off the bat. Like I've had, I actually have this. I don't mind sharing because you know what? There's room for everyone.
Yeah.
Even if I share the idea,
No
someone
one's
can
gonna do it like you anyway.
I don't want to suck it. But no, that's what I like. External challenge, I'll tell you. I think the external challenge is like where everybody thinks like, oh, you're doing the same tour. It's like, yes, I am, and it's room for everyone. Like you know, you do your way, and I'll do it my way, and you know, and that's we live happily ever. At least the guests are having the experience. That's how I think. The operators that I work with now, I really love the camaraderie that we have, where we if I don't have a tour today and I'm full, or maybe I don't have enough persons, I recommend another operator. I was like, hey, I have 2 guests here. I don't have any tour today. Can you accommodate them? Yeah, sure, bring them on. So they can always have that experience. Like I remember a guest said, but it's not yours. I was like, yeah, I don't understand, but I would like you to have this experience. You're only here for a short time. So we want to show off Guyana regardless, because that's who we are as operators, tour operators. We want to show off Guyana regardless if it's not with us,
Yeah.
you know? So the rum tour. How I would do this, if I had to put it in a tour, and I plan to, it's like, okay, so I remember using my own experiences. Remember when I was doing a tour, and it was basically different types of coffee. Do you know the luwak coffee?
No.
It's like one of those really expensive coffees.
Is that the one where the animal poops out the coffee?
Like, yeah, eats the
okay,
best
gotcha.
beans and then poops.
Yeah. yeah.
We actually saw the animals.
I've always wanted to try it.
Sorry?
I've always wanted to try
Yeah,
it.
I actually saw the animals and the whole process and the cocoa beans and everything. I saw the whole process. And then
Did you try it?
I did, of
How was
course.
it?
It was strong.
Strong.
Yeah, it was good though. It was really good. And then they also had like a part where they had the it labeled and the different shots, the glasses, and it labeled, and you could taste it accordingly. So I kind of want to do something like that as well. Where it's very simple layout. So I guess it's just how you make the experience or how you bring it to life.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, and then I actually. I think I don't know if I told you the new tour that I'm working on this year and I'm hoping to get it off the ground is dark tourism.
That was gonna be the next thing I was gonna bring up. So
Yeah, I'm excited about that.
yeah, and this is like we kind of, you could tell I'm Guyanese because my pessimism, not with regards to this, but a lot of times, and we spoke about this before, like like when obviously the Jim Jones thing was a tragedy, and a lot of people kind of want to dissociate with that, and that's fine, but that really had nothing to do with us. And there's so much room for dark tourism. Like if you go to Poland, you go to Warsaw, or
Yeah,
you go
Cambodia,
to
Germany,
yeah,
like
100%. And like it's such a market to be explored, and something that we can end up gaining from.
I think people have to understand that this is part of history.
Yeah.
You can't forget it happened. You can just kind of erase it from it. It
Yeah.
happened. It and unfortunately it happened.
So let's talk about this. So we're talking about the Jim Jones. What do you call it? Do you remember the name of the camp? Did it have a name? It's in Port Kaituma.
The People's Temple.
The People's
Yes.
Temple in Port
Yeah,
Kaituma.
in Port Kaituma, yes.
Right. So most of that infrastructure is gone though.
Oh yes, I actually did the site visit for the research and so forth.
Oh, okay.
And we were there seeing what potential it has, meeting with the council, seeing if we can do like a city tour into that. So we've done all of that. So we're just trying to figure out a way how we could like bring awareness of the story, what happened, just not as a reminder of tragedy, more of like okay, being aware of what happened, being aware of that there are people like that out there. Let people understand that there will be people that will come at you that'll have these stories and be so charismatic and amazing, and you'll think, oh yeah, they're above there, they're like godlike.
Yeah.
Like they do actually have that people with that big charisma, and that, as I told you, I interviewed one of the housekeepers or cook actually that with from Jonestown, and she was saying how he adored Jim Jones, how he was an amazing man, so kind to her always.
She adored him.
Yes.
Oh, yeah.
He actually said that, like, quote unquote.
I mean, I bet had to be a super charismatic guy to
Right.
get 900 people down
Right?
here.
And she could not believe, like,
Yeah.
this is what he was capable of or what he did. Like, and this happened so many years ago, and he was telling us, and, he was so kind to the people there and quite kind to her. And we're in a sense where wherever she goes there, they would always leave with a whole like big bags of provision and stuff like that for the family. And he one time her child was sick, and he'd send them to Georgetown to get treatment, and he was always very good to her.
To her.
And to other, I'm sure, like to other people obviously around her, right? But from the opinion of the people that work around him. But the part that kind of raised the red flag was when she was telling the story where you could not go anywhere around the camp. You had to be escorted. You could never go alone from point A to point B. You had to be with someone from his team, or that worked for him. So we're basically, if you want to go from point A to point B, you'll have to be escorted by one of the guys or girls.
Yeah.
So, and he had this tower that he actually used to stand up and checking on everybody, see if you're, it's just, yeah,
That's where
that was a big
that's where
red
he
flag.
operated without consequence, right? I mean,
Right?
like in his
Yeah.
temple. I actually had a cool story about that as well. My dad actually had told me this. So my grandfather was when he was alive, he was a very renowned gynecologist. He used to joke that he delivered half a Guyana at a time. Anyway, so apparently Jim Jones had like a part of his cult. He had a woman in town that was managing all of his like logistics. I guess it's Port Kaituma. They need like stuff to be sent in and whatever to sustain the
it's
village.
remote, right?
And so she lived in town with like her 2 children or something, but she was my grandfather's patient. And my dad told me that, she used to say, yeah, we need a doctor actually to come and do checkups in Port Kaituma, you need to come, obviously you're a great doctor, whatever. And my granddad, he really didn't have much interest in going, but he was also very busy. I mean, this guy would see 10 women a day. He was such a overworker, constantly on the grind like you. And, he reluctantly decided, okay, I'll come, whatever. And a week or two before he was supposed to go is when the mass suicide happened.
Oh, wow.
And apparently Jim Jones called his woman counterpart in Georgetown, told her it was time or whatever, and she ended up killing her kids and herself. And yeah,
I heard that story actually. I heard that story from Auntie Gladys. The same,
Oh, the same woman?
Yeah, I heard
Oh.
that story, but she couldn't remember the name of the person, and she was telling me about that. Oh wow,
Yeah.
it just
So
put
crazy.
them together.
Yeah.
Yes. I really hope that you actually can get to meet her sometime. That would be
Yeah,
great,
definitely. Just to hear that experience, And I think there was also a potential movie being made on it. I know
Yeah.
Leonardo DiCaprio had
Yeah,
some
that's what they said.
involvement in that. I don't know where it's at right now.
Me neither, but I think that was set to be maybe sometime soon, I hope.
That would be
I
a
don't
good catalyst for the tourism product. I
Definitely.
mean, not to say you should wait on that to do it, but
But like
it just,
I even have like when I have my American guests from because if you look at it, a majority of the person that was affected by it were Americans, right?
yeah, definitely.
And they were on board. They were like, yeah, I'll do it tomorrow. Like do the tour tomorrow if you have it ready. They were very interested.
Well, that would be the main market for that tour, right?
Yes, they were very interested in going to Jonestown and having that experience. So I'm just thinking how to bring it alive, how to give it, it'll definitely have to be an overnight due to the
Yeah.
logistics involved. But I'm just still working on it because, as I said, like I'm the kind of person that wants to make sure that everything, all the I's are dotted and T's are crossed
Yeah.
before I take my guests to have an experience. I want to make sure it's good and it's ready. Even though I know sometimes you kind of have a learning process because that has happened before where I do a tour, it doesn't go as I thought it would have gone. It went differently, but then I learned from that.
Yeah.
Okay, you know what? We'll do this differently because it works better. It's always a learning experience. Always.
A tour like that, you kind of would have to.
Be very sensitive as well.
Yeah, for sure. The sensitivity, for sure. Even though, Guyanese always have something to say, but that's fine. I mean, whatever, things will be said. But in terms of, I guess, setting it up, because there's a lack of infrastructure, it's just a lot of jungle, overgrown bush. You kind of want. Yeah, I don't know. Maybe like if you were to sort of, if you can
I have
maybe
some
rebuild the
ideas.
camp. Yeah, I
have
don't know.
some
You don't have to
ideas.
tell me, right? You don't have to talk about it now. When you start, we can do this again.
Yeah, I have some ideas that so I can actually bring it to life for the people to understand the depths of what happened, and because people just know it was a cult. This happened. A lot of people died. They don't really know the story behind it and understand like the depths of the situation and actually what happened. So we want to bring that to light, and let people understand, like, regardless of what happened here, we moved forward, and we were just stronger now.
Yeah.
That we things like this, it did happen, unfortunately, but you know what? Today we learned from that, and hoping that does not happen again in the future.
Yeah.
So there you go. And the people, I will tell you. So the people of the community, yeah, there are some persons that are
How do
still
they
kind
feel?
of like little. No, I don't want to go there. It feels too eerie. It
Oh,
does
in
feel
the
eerie. Yeah.
camp. Yeah.
Yeah,
Really?
sorry.
So you mean in the
Live there,
temple
yeah.
area? Yeah.
They're still actually they're very eerie. Like he said, like I remember one time one of the guys said they were driving past, and then the car stopped right in front of the sign because it's right by the road, and then it was just like really scary for them.
Oh, the sign's still there?
Yeah, the sign's still there.
Oh, wow.
The Stats people type. So it was so scary for them, like, because a lot of, obviously, how Guyanese culture, they kind of,
Super superstitious.
yes. So but I'm gonna talk personally. When I was there, I guess because you know the history and you know what happened, it was a very eerie.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was just like you feel, yeah, goosebumps.
I mean, but that's the ultimate horror story plot, right? Like,
Yeah,
900 people
Yeah,
offing
but
themselves at the same time.
Yes, but I definitely think that there is a market for that, and I definitely think people are interested in seeing that and learning more. And my goal is to just to bring that alive.
Yeah.
Not alive as in just saying, not to not gonna offer people Kool-Aid, right? Sorry. But no, just to let people learn about the history.
Yeah. No,
There
for
you go.
sure. Yeah, interesting. We can do these things. It's not impossible. I think, like, I wish this is something that's, in my opinion at least, and I'm sure people have different takes on it, but I do think it's like it's something worth pursuing. It's a major event that
Can I tell you this? I don't think there's much operators that want to touch it per se because it's so sensitive.
Yeah.
But I'm kind of operator that likes to think outside the box, try to do the different kind of tours. Like I had a tour that focuses on Pride Month. Like I have a Pride tour actually.
Wow.
Yeah, for LGBTQT plus TI plus community.
Yeah.
That basically they have the flags and everything, and I do a tour every year during that month. Just focuses on that. We do like the river tour, and then we're all teamed and everything with flags and bandanas and and just supporting all different
Where
communities.
do you guys go for drinks?
Sorry?
Where do you guys go for drinks? Or there's no alcohol in that one?
We do, for most team tours that we do, we have like a rum punch.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, our local rum punch.
Okay.
So we do like we have to usually for Valentine's Day we would have like a Hawaii team like a luau.
Okay.
And then for different holidays, we would have teams to make the tours a little bit more interesting. We want people to go because our Guyanese people, they love to party, they love to have a good time. But we obviously try to keep it safe.
Yeah.
Everybody don't go swimming and everybody on board. So, but everybody has been great though. I will say we have great responses from our guests and. Another thing I have to thank and I have to mention is my team. I could not have done anything I've done without my team. They're amazing. They work well together. They love what they do. So with that now, when we work together, it's easy.
How have you been able to find such good people? I mean, like I've seen your team before, and they're all amazing. And like how do you sort of get people you can trust and you can pass on skills to who can carry it at the same level you can? What's the secret behind that?
I would say, honestly, I wouldn't even say it would be only about experience. It would more be about energy. Believe it or not, like when I interview someone, I have to read their energy, whether if they're enthusiastic about what they're doing. It don't even have to be enthusiastic about a particular thing. It's just like if they really are like into it, if they're gonna put their love of what they do, everything into it. Once I see that potential, I was like, yeah, I can definitely train you. Even if you don't have experience, I can definitely train you. But once I see that kind of drive, see that kind of wanting to do more or wanting to sell Guyana and wanted to show off Guyana, wanted to be an ambassador of some sort, and just that kind of enthusiasm I'm looking for.
Yeah.
So once I see that kind of drive, enthusiasm, I definitely was like, yeah, I want you to be part of my team. Skills can be acquired, with time. That's not a problem. But once you have that drive, anything is possible.
Yeah, you gotta have the right attitude.
That's the word. Yeah.
Yeah, definitely. That's important. I kind of had this this. I don't know if you saw the episode with my friend Alana Bose, but we'd cut a clip on social media, and it was just talking about we're discussing that, oh, in some sectors that they just can't find people to work. I was actually particularly referring to construction because I have a few friends working there, which I should have probably mentioned given more context to what we were talking about. Among other sectors, and like it's just, we can't find workers, but there's also this big cry that things are really hard and there are no jobs available. So we're just trying to figure out, reconcile why that is versus why there's empty gaps. And then, there were a lot of comments online and very split. Some people were like, you get all from, Guyanese lazy and they just want to complain to, you don't pay people properly. And then, there's like, you guys don't know what the F you're talking about, which is fine. Like, that's just how it is. But it was interesting to just see the different responses and to see how people feel, because I genuinely am interested in like what everyone's feeling, and versus how I feel about the situation. And I'm definitely not always right about it, or the things I might hear might not be an accurate representation.
Every day, no matter how old you are.
Yeah, you're constantly learning, but it's interesting. I always wonder, like the majority of people, especially younger people, what is their motivation to work? Are most people in the workforce, are they just working for a paycheck, or are they working in fields that they're passionate about? Because I feel like ultimately that's the more important thing. Money's important for sure.
Absolutely.
We all have to live and we all deserve a better life. But it's like if you're sort of working in a job you hate, which I have before, no matter how good the money is, you're not really gonna, well, for the most of the time, you're probably not gonna contribute as positively to the job. And as a result, may or may not get fired or quit. And then, or you might just be unhappy. So yeah, it's really like I think it's,
like I've been working since I was like 16, right? Like right out of school. Because, like I just kind of like that drive. Like I like to do things, be busy and get going, because my dad, he's a custom broker and he's always on the go, So I'm like, okay, so when I get out there, I always want to be that woman, just working woman, that, So I remember my first set of jobs would have been like assistant, executive assistant, secretary, that kind of jobs. And then I was terrible at it, by the way. No, I was late. I was it was terrible. But then I got in, I think, and then I moved on to being a flight attendant for a little while.
Oh yeah, which airline?
It was travel span. It was a short period. I did the training in Vegas. Oh, that was fun. Yes, I did the training in Vegas, and then that was short-lived though, because the airline closed. And then I started working in Caribbean Airlines for about 7 years.
Oh, Caribbean.
And I think
as what?
As a customer service agent at Mary.
Okay.
So we used to check in. So that job, I will tell you this, that particular job kind of helped me grow a lot, apart as well as the ones as being an assistant, to directors, to CEOs. And I learned so much from that aspect and from Cal. Because I learned from that, from the professional aspect in regards to working with the directors. I learned about minutes. I learned about, organizing and just the managerial part of things.
Yeah, corporate world.
So I learned a lot in that couple years of doing that. And then when it comes to Cal now, I learned so much about customer service. And we do training every year, on customer service, on safety. So it kind of molded me into doing what I do today. But I was a lot better at Cal because I actually enjoyed it. I loved doing what it was always a rush. Every day was different, I could tell you crazy stories.
But you had normal hours at Cal?
Sorry?
You had normal hours?
Oh, no. It's shift. You're talking about working from 2 o'clock in the morning to 10 at night, sometimes 10 at night to 6 in the morning, sometimes 2 in the morning to 11 in the morning. So it was always different. So imagine coming from there, and then I was actually working 2 jobs. I was working there, and then I was working with Wonderless, so building Wonderless. And then eventually I had to choose one because it was becoming too much. And so sometimes you just have 2 hours sleep within 2 to 3 days. But I had the vision, I had the goal. I wanted to, follow that dream of becoming, travel connoisseur, I don't know, a person that helps other people get there, other people achieve what they want to see, what they want to do. Just because I've done it myself. I'm like, you can do it too, and I want to help you.
Yeah.
So I've learned that I was good at that and making that transition, and I'm learning so much from my experiences, working with Carl and dealing with people. Of all different walks of life, like from all over the world. You're checking in close to 200 people a day. You're dealing with, right? And but I loved it. I really loved working there. But it was time for me to move on. It was time for me to do something more. And finding what I love and that passion, I just feel very lucky. As you mentioned, like some people working in a job where they're not happy and they're like, I feel like there's something more I need to be doing, and then actually finding that something, it's extraordinary. It's an amazing feeling. And I feel very, very fortunate to have found my passion.
Yeah.
And I guess that's why I'm always so happy and energetic. I look forward to going to work in the morning, I look forward to staying up at night sometimes, working, even though I'm like, oh, I should go to bed. I need to have a full day tomorrow, but I don't mind. Like, I don't mind putting in extra hours because it doesn't feel like work.
Yeah.
It feels like, oh, I'm creating a new experience. I'm creating an itinerary that will make this family so happy. That's the way of looking at it. I think it's the way you look at it that makes the work more easy and flowing. Because if you keep looking at, oh, it's just a chore, it's just, oh, something I need to do. I really need to do it right now. No, look at it like you're actually creating an experience for a family that they probably will never forget. So let's see how best you can do that. So just the way you look at things, or the way you look at your work, I think changes your mindset and how you enjoy it.
Yeah.
I would say.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, it's funny that your career trajectory has sort of, at least from the many years at Cal to now, it almost prepared you for like now this,
Right.
Yeah.
It's true. Like when I think about it, like
Because they're kind of similar. I mean, like, the travel and
yeah, but no, like seriously, like think about it. Like even working with as an assistant, as a secretary for these directors or CFOs, you learn so much from them, and then you learn so much from Cal dealing with people, and it kind of prepares you like how to manage day to day, admin stuff as well as manage people,
Yeah.
So yeah, it did actually. So I guess I've been going in the right direction then.
Yeah, definitely.
Preparing you for today.
Do you think that young people growing up, you said you started working since you were 16, that our younger generation can gain a lot from getting into the workforce early, not necessarily right after high school and putting tertiary education behind completely, but like, I mean, even if it's part-time jobs, or just getting that taste of what work is.
Definitely beneficial. I still went to school, by the way. I
Yeah.
have a degree in sociology.
Nice.
Yeah.
Sorry, I wasn't implying that you didn't.
No. I'm just saying. Like,
Yeah.
I actually do have a degree in sociology that I went to school and went to work.
Yeah. Even better.
But it's definitely challenging.
Yeah.
So I think I took a year off to finish my final year from work. That is, I stopped working for a year just to finish my final year. But definitely, I think it teaches you so much too about independence and about like income and earning and responsibility. Like you learn, and not only that too, it teaches you about working in an environment where it has other people and challenges that you will have to learn as people skills as an adult, as a growing young person. When you're young, you're so sheltered by your parents and your siblings. You're like, you have to learn how to handle things on your own. And as an older sister, like I have two younger sisters, all I hope that we give them enough tools. You can't always be with them.
Yeah.
But you just want to make sure you give them enough tools to handle the world out there, And so that's where I think young people can have the opportunity to learn, to grow, basically, by going into the workforce. So, like early on and just understanding the dynamics of it. Because as you know, like every workplace has its challenges, and dealing with people and bosses and different environments and and of course the workplace drama.
Yeah. Just prepares you for life, like
Yes, but
you know what you don't want to do, what you want to
exactly.
do.
Plus, exactly, you kind of decide, like it kind of pivots to you, like, you know what, I don't think I want to do this for the rest of it. Let's do something else. And it gives you time to change that career
Yeah.
path, you know? Like, you know what? I don't think I want to do this anymore. Let's do something else. But you have time,
Yeah.
know?
Whereas if you
to-
start at 30, you're like, I need this.
yeah,
Like, I have
right?
to
I don't have a
survive.
choice. I have to go down this
Yeah.
road. I chose this path,
Yeah.
you know? But when you're young, you can choose not to do this anymore. Like, you know, okay, I started accounting. I don't like accounting. Let's see something else, you know?
Yeah. Interesting. Just going back to our hospitality industry quickly, I always I'm a big foodie, and I love, like I said, I love culinary experiences. I love the experience of just being out, and it doesn't even have to be the food. Well, obviously the food has to be palatable, but just I like being out there and having a good night, a good experience, like being sort of catered to. And I find a bit, not to downplay a lot of places, but some of them are really good. But a lot of our restaurants and stuff like that, I find like the standard of service isn't necessarily something that's very high or placed like a big amount of importance isn't placed on that. Giving someone like what you do. Like you want someone to have a good experience the minute they sit down in your restaurant or the minute they come to your whatever, and that's something that always concerns me because I like to go out, and there are not many options here. And when I do, I feel like it's a 50-50 if I'm going to be disappointed or
Hit or
not.
miss. Mm-hmm.
So like, what do you think? And you work where you have to partner with these people and these businesses. Like, how do you sort of get, it's not your responsibility, but how do, as a country or as business owners, make sure that service is like a standard here, because there's no tourism industry without like a solid service and hospitality.
I would say 3 points. One, training is important, and I definitely believe it's the onus or the responsibility is on the managers. I wouldn't blame the employees per se because remember they wouldn't know unless they train them to this is what it is. Two, I would say it would be culture to change the culture the way people think, and three, I guess it kind of goes back to culture where you just have to let them understand the importance of what their impact is. They're the first person that a person meets in an establishment, right? I'm just referring to like waitresses and service people, right? Service industry. They're the first, like even my tour guides. They're the first apart from making the booking. What if someone does it online? That's fine, but the first person to meet the tour is a tour guide, or the server, or the bartender, to let them understand the importance that they hold in they're the face of the company. They're the face of the establishment. Let them know that how important their service is to each guest and to I believe when a person works with a company, it becomes part of their personality. Right? Like, I mean, as in they can identify a little bit of it. I don't know. Not everyone is like that. But so I think some people do okay, they're like, you know what, I work, and they probably say, like, I work with this, and I'm part of that. So when you do that, you kind of let them understand the importance of what they do and what impact it has, not only on the people that they're serving, but also the company that they're working for, and ultimately themselves and who they are. As, being proud of what you do, regardless, because everybody matters, every single aspect of everything that we do. Because if you can be good at this, trust me, everyone will benefit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, hopefully we get there. Like we talk
Changing the culture and just letting people know, this, we can definitely change things. We can definitely make a difference. You can make a difference. You particularly, making you feel. You know what I've learned actually, and I've learned this from my own team, just feeling appreciated sometimes. Like sometimes, when some persons, when they work with like big companies or so forth, they feel underappreciated. They feel like they're not seen or they're not treated with respect. And I think that kind of catalysts the whole behavior change. And even with training, it wouldn't change. So I think by even managers should have training on how to deal with staff. saying that, okay, you know what, showing respect will give you respect, and it will making happier employees, making happier performance.
Yeah.
You know, so it's very it's. I know it sounds simple, but I guess how do you get that out there?
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah. Definitely.
So I try my best to always make sure that my team members know that they are appreciated, they're important, and they are a big part of our growth. I always make sure they know that, and I think they do. I think they do. They're always great and responsive, and I love working with them.
Yeah. Well, Rose, on that note, I just want to say thank you so much for coming. It's always a pleasure talking to you.
Thanks for
and
having
you
me,
always
guys.
lift my spirits.
Vicky, it's great to see you as well.
And just moving forward, I just want to recommend to everybody that if you're ever in Guyana and you're looking for an amazing experience, you're looking to see things that you've never seen before, or even if you're a local that wants to just mix it up and have local tours that fit your respective budget, check out Wanderlust. They are on Instagram, Facebook, and
and we have our website, www.wonderlessgy.com.
fantastic. Rose,
Yes.
it's always a pleasure.
All right, see you. Take care. Bye.